After years of city life and endless HOA restrictions, I finally bought my dream property, a 5-acre plot nestled at the edge of a peaceful rural neighborhood. It had a modest cabin, space to build, and most importantly, no HOA membership required. The property was technically outside their jurisdiction, but that didn't stop the self-appointed queen of the community, Karen Whitmore, the HOA president, from introducing herself the moment the moving truck arrived. Dressed in her HOA polo and clipboard in hand, she marched up my driveway as if it were her own. "You can't just park this truck here. It's an eyesore," she barked before I could even say hello. I calmly informed her that my land wasn't part of her HOA, and I double-checked with the county. Her eyes narrowed like I'd slapped her. 15 minutes later, as I was unloading boxes, 2 sheriff's deputies pulled up. Karen had called the cops, claiming I was illegally occupying the land. Big mistake. The deputies were courteous, but it was clear they were used to Karen's antics. I handed over my deed, permit, and exemption letter from the county zoning office. One deputy actually sighed and muttered, "Not again." Karen stood nearby, arms crossed like she was about to witness an arrest. But her smirk disappeared when the officer turned and said, "Ma'am, this gentleman owns the property outright." "You have no authority here." Her jaw dropped. "But this land affects our community view. He has a metal shed back there," and the deputy cut her off. "That's not your business. And if you file another false report, it will be a problem." She stormed off in a fury, but I knew this wasn't over. That night I installed trail cams and started documenting everything. Over the next week, Karen escalated. First, there were anonymous complaints to the county about illegal construction. Then, trash mysteriously appeared near my gate. One morning, I found a note taped to my front door warning me I'd be fined $500 per day for my unpainted fence. I laughed, then called the sheriff's office again. "She's trying to enforce HOA rules on someone not in the HOA," I explained. An officer came out again and warned her to leave me alone. That only fueled her rage. Her minions, other HOA board members, began circling my property, flying drones, taking pictures. So I pulled out the one card Karen hadn't expected. My family name. My grandfather had been a powerful figure in the area-donated land, helped develop infrastructure. Turns out, there were easement rights Karen's HOA had been illegally using for years, and I now owned them. Instead of retaliating outright, I did what Karen hated most. I stayed calm and legal. I hired a real estate lawyer and filed a formal notice to the HOA board, effective immediately. Their walking trail that crossed 100 feet of my land was no longer accessible. I also submitted evidence of Karen's drone surveillance to the FAA. The lawyer discovered something even better. Karen's HOA had expanded a community playground partially onto my land during a poorly surveyed renovation 5 years ago. The HOA was technically trespassing and hadn't secured an easement. When the board received the cease and desist letter, a special emergency meeting was called. I was invited, but declined. Instead, I sent my attorney. Karen tried to spin it, calling me hostile and uncooperative. But the board quickly turned on her when the legal consequences came to light. Fines, potential lawsuits, and the risk of having to relocate playground equipment and repave community sidewalks had everyone in panic mode. Parents were furious that their kids' play area might get shut down. One board member told me Karen had withheld the survey issues for years, hoping no one would notice. Now, her name was mud. The HOA offered me a sizable settlement for a legal easement, but I refused. Instead, I told them I'd allow access only under my terms. No HOA interference. No drone flights, no inspections, and a signed public apology from Karen herself. She refused at first, until the board threatened to remove her. Karen eventually knocked on my door again, but this time there was no clipboard. Just a folded letter and a barely audible, "I'm sorry." She handed me the public apology, signed and notarized. I accepted it with a smile and gave the HOA written permission to use the trail and playground space under my terms. Since then, the HOA has kept its distance. Karen resigned from the board 3 weeks later. Some say she moved away, others say she just keeps to herself now. As for me, I built a garden where her drone used to hover, put up a big metal gate with private property, no trespassing in bold red, and started enjoying the quiet country life I'd always wanted. Lesson learned. Never mess with someone who knows the land better than you do.